Okay, so welcome back in. We're getting close to finishing up this deck series. In this video, we're going to be working on railings. Mostly last video, we installed all the basically wood components of the railings. So you're looking at that beautiful longleaf pine. We milled all that. We put it all in place. And then we're going to fill all these gaps now with a cabling system made by Cable Bullet. Now they did provide all of the hardware for this. And I'm going to go through the whole process of how I did it. I'm about to explain kind of what they sent to you here in a second, but what I'm doing here with those stainless steel threaded inserts, I'm installing all these. So these are going to be where the cable attaches to your railing. So I'm using dividers to lay out the placement for all my holes. Cable Bullet makes a really awesome jig to do this, and honestly, I can't fully remember why I didn't use it. I think it was because the way my posts sit out and the bevel and that angle on it, the jig just wouldn't register properly against it. It's been so long since I've done this, I honestly cannot remember, but I know there was a good reason why I didn't use that jig and had to resort to using dividers, which work equally as well. Just with dividers, you want to make sure that you check the setting periodically because they can get knocked out of setting, and if that happens, then your holes are all off. So this is all the hardware they sent. I've already opened it because I was pretty excited to see it. First thing that caught my eye was this bad boy right here. Let's see if I can get this out of here. This is a really nice drill bit. This is top. I mean, chair makers use these bits. I've been wanting to get some of these. They have set me up with everything I need to do this install. I've got guides. I've got all the necessary hardware. They even got the bits, as I was showing you, and I've got the cutters, everything. This is awesome. I'm excited to bust into this. We got all the cabling in here. Look at the hardware on this stuff, man. It's really nice. All packaged really pretty. These must be the pass-through. So I'm gonna start right now trying to make sense of all this and get going on installing. I think we probably start with these bad boys. These go into the wood post. Look up, those are some big old threaded inserts there. So cool, yeah, we'll get these set and then the cable starts getting fed. I feel like this is gonna be a pretty lengthy process, but I feel good about it because we got everything we need right here in these boxes. Even these threaded inserts, which were a little intimidating when I first saw them, if you've ever worked with these kind of things, they can be hard to install. So they provide you with the proper drill bit, as I showed you, and then they have this really cool kind of Allen key that hooks into the end of that insert. It can go in your drill or in a ratchet and screw these things in. It makes really quick work of it. You put it on a low setting on your drill, get a lot of torque, and these things will screw right in, no problem. And they're in there solid. You got to think that we're going to hook cables into these, and they're going to hold a lot of tension. So here I've moved that driver over to my ratchet. This is going to allow me to kind of turn each one and get all of these sitting in the same orientation. This is a lengthy process. I got to do every frame here. So again, I'm using the dividers to lay everything out. Works really, really well. The center posts here are pass-through posts, so there's no anchoring. We just need to get the cable through the post to the other side. This is one of the reasons why I installed those wood uprights on the steel posts. So if you see any post going to the roof, that's a steel post, 1/4 inch steel, and they do have a system where you can thread these cable anchors into steel, but I just didn't want to mess with that. So I put these wood uprights in there for the purpose of being able to hold the anchors. Also, I think it looks cool. Kind of wraps in, frames in that panel, and looks nice. So I've drilled both sides of this post. I'm drilling like, I don't know, 1/2 inch here. So these inserts are a little bit different than the actual anchoring inserts. They're only about 3/4 or even less of thread, so they're a lot smaller. So we don't have to drill as far, but we want to make sure that we're kind of staying in the same spot on both sides of this post, because obviously we got to drill a hole through, which we're about to do here in a second. So they also provide this little, I think it's a 3/16 bit, nice and long. It can go through these posts no problem. It is a little bit difficult to get through them straight and even. This is where their jig would really come in handy, because their jig has got a setup for this so that you can drill the holes and keep everything lined up and straight. I managed to get it through there without a lot of issues. Now, you might have, if you're
If you're seeing things well, you might notice that there is some wiring, low voltage wiring in these posts, and I haven't even crossed my mind at this point the dangers of hitting that. And we're going to run into that problem here soon. The whole design of how I ran my wiring turned out to not work well at all with this cabling system, so I made a bit of an error on that judgment. If I could go back and do it again, I would change that whole system because it created a lot of headaches. So now we've got these smaller inserts and we're doing the same thing. We're just hooking them up to this driver on my drill and setting them all in place. These are basically just trim pieces for the most part, just make it look nice as that cable goes through. Okay, so now we've worked our way to the opposite end where we're going to drill in more anchors. Here's where I'm going to run into some wiring issues. There's a wire running right through the middle of that upright in a channel I cut in the wood, and I just tear that wire to pieces.
Okay, just made a pretty big error here. This is chunks of wire. Totally forgot that I ran my wire up through here in my railing over to this post here for that light, and I just tore it up. These holes have to go all the way. This thickness of this wood is about the length of those cable holders. I just wasn't thinking. I just drilled all the way down and tore up the wire. So now I'm going to pull this off. Hopefully I can get that off and drill the holes off of the thing and then hopefully repair the wire. I'm hoping I can just splice it back together and then put it, once I have all the holes drilled, I can put it back on and we should be good. So I don't think this is a huge step back, depending on if I can splice this wire or not. Oh my gosh, I tore it up bad. Dang it. Such a bad idea. Oh, dang it, I pulled it apart inside. Gosh, what a mess. Oh. So frustrating.
Okay, so after some major discouragement there and a lot of work to repair the wiring, I moved on to cabling. Something better. Judd's helping me out here, so I put my tape up and just ran the links. The cable bullet system explains in depth how you need to cut your cabling. You cut it to the proper length and you have plenty of room to tension. And so I got Judd to help me install all of the end pieces on the cables. So there's two crimps and then there's a little kind of nut that goes on the other side of those crimps. It's going to allow you to tension the cables once we install them.
Here, let me show you what you can do. You can try very carefully. Come here, let me show you. You grab one of these. You see these two things? Yeah. Put this one on the end first. Slide it on there. What's going on? Kind of slide it way down.
I can't wait.
Get it? Put this one on and slide it way down. And then I'll bring you the next one.
Them right now. Okay, I'm done with this one.
Okay, I'll bring you another one. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is number 5.
Oh. Dad, I almost did the big one first.
But you didn't?
Yeah. I did the little one. Now the big one.
Get it?
Yeah.
Okay, here's the next one. You're a good helper, bud.
Dad,
Yeah.
what are these ones for?
They're the ones we crimp. We'll do that in a second, okay?
Okay.
First we gotta get all 8 of these made. Okay, now we gotta feed this through.
Okay, so now we're running cables. You can see that first two are in, and that whole other panel's in. So we're running this one through that pass-through post. It's a little bit tricky sometimes to get it through that post. Sometimes you got to get the drill out and kind of re-drill your hole and bore it out a little bit so your cable can get through. That cable gets hung up sometimes. Once you get it through the pass-through, you get it in the cable connector and tension it up. And I'm going to show you how that happens right now. Okay, so let me give you a little bit more of a detailed look at how this works. So the inserts we were putting in were these pieces here. You can see kind of how that looks there on the end. So it has a threaded section on top. The cable goes in the center hole. A set screw goes in that threaded section. This is the driver I was telling you about. So this goes in your drill that slides in there like that and allows you to send these home. So it's a pretty cool system. Cable works is you take this little dude here, which this is what Judd was kind of helping me with, and this actually slides, you know, it fits in this hole just like that. So you can kind of see it would drop down in there, and that is what is going to allow you to tension that cable. And the way you attach that to the cable, which I can't do with a camera in my hand, but you put this in first. I'll just kind of lay it there, and then you get two crimps. So you crimp the end of the cable with those. That's what's going to hold this in place so it doesn't pull off the cable. And then the cable slides into your insert, and then you got a little set screw that drops into that threaded section, and then you tighten it. So to tension this, basically, you know, these are pretty good, a little loose. You basically, they give you the tool. They give you a long one here, a long driver, so you can kind of get in there and easily turn these set screws. And every time you rotate and turn it, it's tightening and tensioning this cable, pulling on it. It's really simple, really easy. You can do both sides and kind of pull these in tension, and it works great. So that's a little bit of a closer look at how the system works, the tensioning, and these inserts. Okay, so all the kids are jumping in to kind of lend a helping hand. We've been doing some swimming. This is funny. This footage was shot months ago. It was still hot out here in Texas, and kids were still swimming. And I was working in shorts and sandals, but it's always great to have them tagging along, getting to work on the weekend with them. This was tedious. I've said that like 20 times, but it did take a while, and eventually they got bored of it, got into a pretty solid game of Connect 4. Trying to see who's winning here. Looks like no one's really got a strategy at all. Just dumping them in without any thought. All right, so let's shift gears. We've got all the cabling installed. It's, like I said, it's repetitive. It's a really just time-consuming system, but it looks great. I'm going to share more about that here towards the end of the video. Cable Bullet, big thanks to them. I'm going to link all of their products in the description, everything they gave me. They did an amazing job. Also, big thanks for the t-shirt and the Yeti cup. I love Yeti cups, so appreciate that, Cable Bullet. I've got my buddy Brandon here. He's helping me out. So the front railing to the house, the original railing is that one that goes in front of the door and angles down. I paid a local welder to fabricate an extra panel to fill in that space. Originally that panel was wood in the old deck. We're gonna run that kind of circle all the way across. We thought it was a cool vintage look, so we're gonna stick with it. Right now what we're doing is running the string line up here. We're about to lose, nice save. So my other buddy Steve's with us. These are a couple of my buds from Bible study, so they're thankful for them for coming out and helping. But what we're doing is we got that string run up there. Brandon is now using his fist as a hammer, which we all get a kick out of. We're just trying to get these two railings to line up, get them where we want them, clamp them together, and then we're going to turn it into one long single railing. We're going to weld it all together. Originally, I had planned on just bolting these together and making them two separate pieces, but I decided that it would work best as one piece. So that's where we're going here. The first thing we're going to have to do is weld a new foot to the new panel, which we're going to do right now. You can see that foot there. We had to cut it because it was too long. We had to shorten it a little bit, and I'm about to show you how not to weld. I think immediately I burned a hole in the steel there. I just don't know what I'm doing. I'm self-taught. Just play around with it. I can get two pieces of metal together, but it doesn't look pretty. Brandon, on the other hand, he's really good with a stick welder. We didn't have a setup to run a stick welder, but he's kind of giving me some pointers and trying to help me, produce something of quality. The good thing about this particular situation is we're going to grind as well. So, you're never going to see them. We're going to grind them and paint them, as long as it holds. And here you can go. I'm going to get a close-up so everyone can see how bad of a welder I am. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not trained in any way. I just bought a welder off Amazon and started welding. And you know, I can, like I said, I can get 2 pieces of metal together. All right, so now that we've got that welded on, we're gonna weld the new railing to the old railing. So we're putting everything back up, getting it all in place. So it kind of takes a few steps. If you notice the end of the old railing, we actually cut that too. So we got some welding to do on that. We'll do that here soon. Brandon, like I said, he's taken over, and he runs some decent beads for not having used this little flux core welder, and I'm thankful for that. I think it's, you know, we need a good connection here on this to make it solid. So he's going to finish off here where we cut this. Basically, this railing had one extra circle, and it stuck out way past the steps. So I didn't see any point in that. We just cut it where that circle was and got a new post and welded that on. And we'll cap that there, so obviously we're not getting water in that or anything like that. Okay, so all the fabrication is done. We got one big giant railing now. Now we're gonna get it down and do a little cleanup and start painting this thing.
When you use Rawls dryer sheets and your clothes look amazing, it's the sheet. Less static in your life? Yeah, it's the sheet. Smelly fresher than ever? It's the sheet.
So I'm gonna get it wiped down. I think I've got some denatured alcohol and just cleaning. It's been sitting out in my yard for, you know, 2 or 3 weeks, so it's a little dirty. Plus we've been welding on it and all that kind of stuff and grinding. So I'm gonna get it cleaned up, and then I'm painting this with the same thing I've used on the rest of the steelwork, is Total Boats Wet Edge. This is a polyurethane topside paint for boats, but man, it's a really good paint. I painted all the steel posts on the deck with this stuff, and it has held up wonderfully. I rolled everything on the deck, rolled multiple coats. Here I'm gonna spray, because obviously if you look at this, you're trying to roll paint on this railing with all those kind of cracks and nooks and stuff, it would be a mess. So I'm gonna shoot this. First time I ever shot this stuff. Worked great. It laid down really nice. It adhered well. And it took 2 coats each side. Generally when I paint, I'm really good at getting paint all over everything, including the ground, the grass, the rocks, the entrance to my house, walkway. The walkway in front of the deck has a black spot, so I'm gonna get a power washer and have to clean that up. Shifting gears again to the thermally modified ash. So if you haven't watched any of this series, this entire series is sponsored by Thermary, and they provided all of this material, and it is set here and weathered for a while. It's been on for 3 or 4 months. You can see it's grayed. I'm putting a fresh coat of oil on it, but one thing I want you to notice as I do this is all the joints and seams and gaps are all the same. There's been very little movement in this wood. It's been stable. The color has changed. Thermary you have an option when you buy the stuff to purchase the oil and maintain it and keep it this nice rich color, or just let it gray naturally. And a lot of people just let it gray. Honestly, I think it looks pretty good grayed. This is really a matter of preference, but I like the idea of getting a fresh coat of oil on this, just protecting that oil. I love the way it looks when it's oiled. It's really an awesome material. I'm thankful that I was able to use it. I'm gonna link all the info to it in the description. It's very much worth looking into if you got a deck coming up. This is a great shot. You can see the right side has the oil, the left side is grayed and weathered. Let me know, what do you think looks better, the grayed or the freshly oiled wood? The gray or the freshly oiled. I also have all that thermally wood up on the roof in the soffit, and it looks great, really ties it all together. So getting oil down on the decking as well, it takes a while to do this. Basically, I just roll it on pretty. You're supposed to roll it on kind of light, at least that's what it says. This is Q-Tech oil. It's hard to keep it light. I think I was putting it on a little too heavy, but I had a rag and I was trying to wipe off the excess. I wanted to notice this shot too. Like, all of this stayed pretty stable. All those miters, they didn't move much. So just a testament to how well this wood holds its position and has dimensional stability. What's up? Okay, so fast forward in time just a little bit here. You just watched me finish oiling the deck. It's about 2 weeks ahead now as I'm speaking to you, and we've got about 3 days of rain, and we just got some sun today. The clouds finally broke. I want to show you. We have water all over the deck, but this is really cool. Check this out. It's just beating up. Look, it didn't penetrate the wood. It's just sitting on the surface. It's all down here and just beating up. So you can see how well that oil works. It looks great. The water's not penetrating into the wood. And this is a couple weeks after we oiled. So I had to share this. This is pretty cool. I'm pretty impressed with that. Okay, so I got the deck all oiled. It's all looking really nice. Even oiled the hand railing to make it look good. Now I've got my buddy's back. Picked up one extra one here. I thought 4 would be good. We're putting the railing back on. Got it all painted. It looks great. Gonna have a few bolts to put in this and finish it off. I'm pumped. It's all kind of coming together. The last thing I got to do is add that wood railing to the top. So I'm going to carry all that longleaf pine down this railing. I'm not going to do that in this video. We're going to save that for the very last video, which is coming up soon. You're going to see the completed deck, how it all looks, get some cool footage of it. Like I said, this has been an amazing build. It's lasted me almost 12 months. I've just kind of slowly kicked at it, and it's really turned out nice. And I'm almost there. Almost there. So it feels good to almost be done with it. It did take a while, but I don't do things quick, and that's just kind of how I am. I like to take my time and get it right. And I'm about to show you actually how I got it wrong. So the last thing to attach is this center part of the railing, and here we go. This is a bad idea. Look, I just split the board.
I knew it. Andy, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. I'm an idiot, bud.
Yeah, what?
I didn't drill a pilot hole. It's so stupid. Gosh darn it, I split the board, bud. This is what happens when you rush stuff. Shoot! No, I'm okay.
Yeah, but what about this board?
No, we can't use that one.
Yeah, why?
Oh my gosh, I feel so dumb for doing that. I wonder if we can get it glued back together. Let's do this. Let's jam.
I thought you knew.
Let's jam this back. Watch the board, buddy. See what happened? See how it's splitting?
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to get some epoxy. Buddy sure did. Let that ooze down in there a little.
Can you still do it now? But that epoxy smells good.
This was not good. I should not have done this. I'm going to back this screw out and watch it's going to close the crack. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go get a paper towel real quick.
Okay, so that's going to shut it down for this video. I'm coming to you at night because I wanted to give you an idea of what it looks like with the lights on, which I think it looks pretty. It looks way cooler in person than it does on camera. I'm not even sure how well this is coming out, but hopefully you get a feel for how well this thing lights up. It looks awesome. The oil on there looks great. I got a few lights I got to get dialed in there. Those step lights are giving me some issues. So this is going to be the second, well, this is really one of the last videos, build videos of this deck series. First, I want to thank Thermery for providing all the lumber and then decor for the lights. They did an amazing job, and cable bullet for the railing. There will be one more video. I want to close it down and kind of show you a grand kind of tour of the whole thing. A few landscaping things to do, a few little details to finish out. The railing in the front that we installed, the metal railing, we're going to put a cool longleaf pine handrail on that. So that'll have to happen in the next video, and then that'll be it, guys. So I really hope that y'all have enjoyed the series. It's been a lot of work, almost a year since I started this project to when I'm filming now. So it's taken a while. I haven't obviously been doing it full time. I've just kind of been knocking at it. I also want to give a big thanks to Travis, who came out and gave me a helping hand. I could not have done this without him. I couldn't have built this awesome concrete planter, all the framing. There's no way I could have, I would never have gotten it done. So Travis, I really appreciate it. You guys be sure to go give him a follow over on Instagram. Check out what he does. He's a very talented home builder, and I think he deserves y'all's follower. If you hang out on Instagram, he deserves your follow. So as always, appreciate you guys tuning in. Stay tuned. We got one more video, and probably won't see you before the holidays. So a big Merry Christmas to everyone. Just super grateful for everyone who watches these videos. Hope you guys have a wonderful holiday break, and we'll see you real soon.